how many Africans has the United States military trained and equipped?
Congressman, it would be a wild guess right now.
Seems like something we should know, right?
Over the years, we have trained a substantial number, especially in the Gulf of Guinea states, including
Like more than 10,000?
It is more than 10,000.
More than 50,000?
I say we're reaching around 50,000
Okay.
at least.
And what percentage of the people we've trained end up participating in insurrections or coups against their own government?
Very small number, Congressman, very small number.
So what percentage do you think?
I'd say probably less than 1%.
This is Colonel Mamadi Doumbouya, and this is a photo of him. Did we train and equip him? In Guinea?
By name, I cannot identify that.
Well, that guy in the middle with the big red hat, Colonel Mamadi Doumbouya, that's him with a bunch of U.S. service members outside of our embassy. And just months after this photo was taken in 2021, he led a coup in Guinea and threw out the leader. Does that concern you?
Congressman, core values is what we start off with in IMA programs.
How many governments have to be overthrown by people we train before you sort of get the message that our core values might not be sticking with everyone? Is it 5 countries? 10?
We'll continue with our persistence in assuring
But do you think it's
that
working?
they harbor democratic norms, democratic values.
Just a moment ago,
apolitical.
You said we shared core values with Colonel Doumbouya. You said that just moments ago in response to my question, and his core value seems to be leading a coup.
Do you know what's sickening? Africans blaming their leaders without understanding the deeper betrayal. Many of these so-called African leaders are nothing but trained puppets made in Paris, London, and Washington, and they are exported to us like defective products. They are not failing us because they are Africans. They are failing us because they are servants of colonial interest, trained to see our lives as expendable. When you see Tinubu running to Paris, smiling sheepishly, sharing a bed with Macron like a lost child looking for approval, understand one thing. This is not leadership. This is the finished product of colonial training. A stooge dressed in agbada, flown to France, not as an equal, but as a houseboy coming for instructions. Don't be fooled by the suits, the photo ops, or the fake summits. These gatherings are not about Africa's growth. They're about Africa's continued control. Africans are not poor by mistake. We are poor by design. Since the so-called independence, the West has been manufacturing African leaders in their image. Men who will sell out their people for a seat at their master's table. Look at history. Men like Jacques Foccart, the shadow hand of France. He handpicked African presidents like cheese pieces. In Togo, he helped remove Sylvanus Olympio, the first president, because Olympio refused French military control. In Mali, he undermined Modibo Keïta because Keïta wanted economic independence. In Gabon, Foccart installed Omar Bongo, a man who had ruled like a French prefect for over 40 years. And the list goes on. Congo, Chad, Foccart's fingerprints are all over African blood. And when political games weren't enough, they unleashed their bloodhound, Bob Dinar, the French mercenary who staged not one, not two, but multiple coups d'etat across Africa. In Comoros, Benin, Congo, and Gabon, Dinar led armed takeovers to install leaders loyal to Paris, not to their people. They murdered those who resisted and promoted stooges who obeyed. And they trained the next generation of betrayers. I don't want to name somebody from South Africa. Now, what you saw in that video was Matt Gaetz confronting U.S. General Michael Langley of AFRICOM. He was asking him why U.S. trained African soldiers keep leading coups. Langley fumbles, stammers, cough like a thief in the night. Because the truth is simple. They don't train African soldiers to protect African people. They train them to protect Western interests. And when those interests change, when they decide, those African leaders, when they decide they want to serve, they want to rule directly instead of serving Western interests, the West call them juntas, military dictators, human rights abusers. They are good leaders when they sell your country cheaply. They are threats to democracy when they stop taking orders from the West. And now look at Nigeria. Look at our own president, Tinubu, a man who from the very moment he sat on that cursed chair has dragged millions of Nigerians into deeper poverty. Fuel prices soaring, loan stacking, food prices breaking back. Yet this man borrows. He borrows money to renovate the presidential villa, to buy new planes, to fix solar projects, while Nigerians can't eat, while Nigerians are butchered in their own villages. Tinubu is flying to France to kneel before Macron, small boy. Now, at the same time, across Africa, France is being chased out. Mali said go. Burkina Faso said go. Niger said go. But Tinubu, Tinubu is flying toward the colonizer like a houseboy with broken pride. And just when you think the betrayer couldn't get worse, look at what is happening in Burkina Faso. Look at Ibrahim Traore, a young leader who dared to put his people first, who dared to say no more to France, to exploitation, to endless poverty. Now there are plots to take him out. And guess who is throwing the stones? General Michael Langley, a black man standing in the uniform of the empire, accusing Traore of using his country's gold to protect his regime. Now, you for use and take protect before. Imagine that sickness. A black man speaking for Western power, condemning another black man for defending African resources from foreign theft. They don't even hide the hypocrisy anymore. They don't feel shame anymore because colonialism has evolved. It no longer needs white faces. Now it wears black faces too. And unfortunately, this is the reality we must confront. And until we stop blaming the symptom and start cutting off the disease, the foreign control, the colonial chains disguised as development aid and partnership, Africa will remain a playground for the children of the West. Not because we are weak, not because we are foolish, but because we allow our enemies to handpick the referees, the players, and even the rules of the game. So stay asleep if you want, but don't cry when your grandchildren curse your name. If you want, wake up. That's all I have to say.